with the face who runs the place, T-Roy, the OG on the marquee, Jaybird, and the cat who runs the chat with the stats, Statman Surge. We are Don't Hassle Us, We're Local. We're not a Quad City Sports Talk radio show. We're not the Quad City Sports Talk radio show. We are your Quad City Sports Talk radio show. Welcome to the conversation, Quad Cities. But first, the Dawn. Good afternoon, Quad Cities. April 22nd, day after Easter. I'm Jay in studio, and with me, guest from Hawkeye headquarters, WHBF, Adam Rosso. Adam, how you doing, man?
Let's do it. Manic Monday.
Let's do it. It's Manic Monday. It's you and me. It's quiet in here.
It is. Without T-Roy, it's always quiet, but it's a little extra quiet without Surge.
I know. Yeah, you can't hear him typing away. I'd like to thank you all for listening on ESPN 93.5 FM. Reminder that you can download the app and listen on your smartphone. And do that at your App Store or your Google Store. Go to ESPN KJOC and download that. You can also listen to us on your computer. Go to ESPN935.com. In the upper right-hand corner, click Listen Now. And we are on Facebook Live and YouTube as well. But here we are, ESPN 93.5. Beautiful day in the Quad Cities, Adam. I feel like we've deserved it in the Quad Cities.
Yeah, finally. Coming in here got a little humid even, I feel like. I know it's supposed to storm later today, but man, yesterday and Saturday, how about beautiful days? I talked to a buddy when I was up for Final Four in Minnesota that in Minnesota there's maybe, 10 to 12 perfect weather days all year. Yeah. Like, you can't get many of them. I feel like there's a few more down here because of the warmth, but Saturday was one of those. What was it? 75, a slight breeze from the south, so it was that nice, refreshing breeze, beautiful sunshine. Like, it's got to be a top 5 day all year. I'm going to predict that. That's a keeper. Yesterday was even a little warm for some people who weren't used to it, I think. A lot of sunburn on the social media I was seeing.
That's the Midwest living, right? It's cold, and then I can't handle the heat type of thing. I don't know. Just get used to it. That's what I do. So, no, I'd rather, even though I love the Twin Cities, and oddly enough, the majority of the time I spent up there was not in anywhere close to those 5 to 10 nice days. I spent most of those times in the fall to the late spring. And it's weird that I spent so much time up there is because I'd rather be warm than cold. But
yeah, and I feel like the spring, at least compared to the fall, I think fall is probably like September, early October is probably about the best weather you get up there, along with some days in the summer, obviously. But this time of year, like we saw, what was it, last week, 2 weeks ago, you get a foot of snow, and then a week later it's 70 and sunny. So that's Midwest in general, but Minnesota is the extremes. I think there was one time it was like negative 40 in February, and then it was also like 2 weeks later positive 40. It was an 80-degree swing. I mean, that's unbelievable. That's extreme. So it's less humid than it is down here, I'll say that, but obviously the warmth is short-lived up there.
Well, speaking of extreme, it's been an extremely long time since I've seen you in studio, so we have a lot to talk about. You brought up the Final Four, and you were in attendance.
Yep.
So I'd like to talk about that a little bit. And then we have a lot of draft to talk about and news of what we're doing on Thursday to share with everybody as well. Reminder, you guys can leave questions on the Vans Pizza Pub and Grill Facebook comment line. And appreciate everyone. Erickson's on there right now saying he could have come in and run the chat. I didn't throw out a bat signal. Erickson, if you're around, you can drive up anytime and run the chat. But no, we have that going on. Obviously, you've got a lot of prep to do with Hawkeye headquarters. That's got to be insane. I mean, can you imagine how many years you've been doing this now?
This is the third year.
Your third year. And this is probably the most prep you've had to ever do.
Yeah, it's interesting because actually when I was at Northwestern in grad school, the draft was in Chicago. So we had a whole quarter-long class on the draft, actually.
Okay.
So we did a lot of things, like, obviously we went to the combine, but just different things. Like, I followed, it was one of the coolest stories I did, actually. If I would live in Des Moines and Hawkinson would be around, I was going to approach him about this, but I just ran out of time with all the Hawkeye basketball stuff. I went to this suit shop in the Loop in Chicago where the guy was a Notre Dame grad, so he had connections to a couple guys like Ronnie Stanley that year and maybe one other guy. And so I literally went in as the NFL Network crews were coming out, and I talked to the guy, the owner of the suit shop. We went through some suits. He just talked about how he got into it. He had a bunch of Notre Dame stuff, just kind of how he had slowly but surely made this niche about, the custom suits with the pictures printed on the inside of the guys' jackets, or, you see some of the flashier ones that they have. So he had done that for a few Notre Dame guys. So I got to follow that, and that was pretty cool. Just getting that, there's so many little niche angles to the draft, whether it's that, whether it's some of these small college guys. Another one this year that I saw Adam Rittenberg just did on ESPN.com was the Saunders kid from Western Illinois, down in Macomb, and he's kind of a under the radar guy, but it was a great story. I encourage you guys to read that, like just about him coming up and everything like that. So that's kind of the angle of the draft. When you don't have 2 first-round picks potentially going this year, it's a little bit different, just in terms of, I feel like it's kind of trying to sift through the hype, I guess. Because we'll talk later about, we'll have our mock draft picks, or at least I'll tell you where I think the Iowa guys are going. You got to kind of sift through it, because you're looking at, Hawkinson on some of these big boards is top 6, top 5, top 7 as far as overall prospect in the draft.
Okay.
And that to me is, man, that's interesting, because he doesn't have, world class or elite athleticism, and typically that type of ranking for the guys, it's guys like Clowney that are rated that high, or a guy like J.J. Watt or something where they're freakishly athletic for their size. And TJ's not really like that. He's athletic. He's plenty athletic to play in the league and be successful. But his stuff really stands out on tape and on some of the intangibles and just some of the little nuances that he brings to the position. We'll see it. We'll see on Thursday where that lands him. That to me is the most interesting subplot to this, because obviously Fant has the athleticism on him, but I don't think Noah's is technically sound.
Yeah, and I think that's something all Iowa fans have gone back and forth all year about that. And we saw that on the field, and we know that. Like you said, you get a blocking tight end who can also run routes out of TJ, and you got just an athletic freak out of Fant. But we have that to talk about. Like you said, we can look at some mock things. I think what's interesting about this, and I think what this area is blessed of having, the Hawkeye fans blessed of having, is, you have the Kyler Murray angle, but this is really going to be a defensive line, offensive line heavy first round.
Absolutely. Defensive line by far is the most stacked position in the draft. I would say between that and edge rushers, your interior and exterior linemen, you're probably going to get 6 of the first 10, if not 7. I think Murray is actually a fascinating subplot to me, just in terms of like how much he's blown up, right?
Yeah.
Like he's played 1 year at Oklahoma. He was ready to go to the A's. He's going to be in Beloit, right? I mean, as of 6 months ago, he was thinking about playing in Beloit, joining the organization. Now he's potentially the number 1 pick, but the Cardinals just drafted a quarterback last year. Right? I mean, like, it doesn't make sense in terms of, like, if you think the guy from last year is equal to or better, then we talked about this a while ago. Then you trade out, right?
Yeah.
You have to.
I feel like I've spent so much time speculating on where Rosen should go. I'm almost nearly a closet fan of this kid that I have seen maybe one Sunday. But it's just one of those things that, is it they're waiting for, are people trying to call Cardinals bluff, and see what they... I've listened to different things where he should go. Where Stocking tells me that, he texted me last week. He told me that he thinks the best place is for the Dolphins. I told him no way. I said the Dolphins' schedule is so terrible that they can tank without even tanking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I think they're in tank. But they to me seems like one of the prime candidates to trade down.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to jump up and take one of those D linemen or jump up and take a quarterback, I think the Dolphins will bump back and try to acquire some picks for next year, knowing that, hey, you got Herbert from Oregon, who's going to be there, likely Tua. So you have those 2 quarterbacks who are probably, I would say probably already above everybody except Murray in this draft, right? I wouldn't think Haskins or Locke or Daniel Jones would rate ahead of Herbert or Tua if they were to come out this year, or if they could have.
No, I don't think so, but we'll talk more about Haskins and Murray and where this draft class is, because you're going to see people like Locke go that probably are not first rounders, but it's a quarterback, and if you think that's going to You have to take a quarterback if you think this is the quarterback that's going to be the future. You build around the quarterback. A lot of times quarterbacks go first round. There's just no business going that high.
Yeah, you see at least, actually last year, now that I think about it, last year might have been the first year where we didn't see at least one really, really big reach of a guy, right? Lamar was traded, the Ravens traded back into the first round to get Lamar Jackson at 32. I don't think that's a reach at all. That's kind of where everybody thought he was going to go late first, early second. But then you have the 4 guys that went in the top, 12, 11? Those guys were all projected to be top 15 picks anyway. So last year was interesting. It was 2 years ago where we kind of saw all the trades that, whether it was 2 or 3 years ago, whenever it was, Mahomes and Watson, they jumped up, and I think most people thought they would be maybe even second-round picks, but they got picked in the top, 15 or so as well. And then you throw in your, Paxton Lynch from a few years back where he's borderline. You got, Hackenberg going in the second round when he had no business going. You're right. It's a quarterback. The quarterback is the easily the most inflated position in the draft. And, if it's, I don't think necessarily I don't think anybody thinks he's the best player in the draft. No. I think he's probably around, the 5th, maybe 4th. I think the kid from Alabama, Williams. You got Bosa, obviously. Those are, I think, consensus, the top 2 talents in this draft.
Yeah, we'll talk more when we do this. In Wednesday, I was kind of saving this for what you should do Wednesday, but CBSSports.com did where the draft should really go based on talent and more needs. And I think they had Kyler going 3rd round in the where he should do type of thing.
Well, that's a little extreme.
And then he wouldn't have left baseball for that. But.
No.
All right, we're going to take our first break, and we'll be right back. Me and Adam are going to talk more about the NFL and the Hawkeyes. I want to remind you, though, to stop going to your favorite social media sites, asking for suggestions of where to go to get your oil change, who does the best tattoo work, or the best place for lunch in the Quad Cities. Grab your Locals Love Us guide all over the Quad Cities. Their guide has an easy-to-navigate table of contents to help you find whatever you're looking for. Or go to their website at localsloveus.com. Click on the Quad Cities and then browse their favorites. So easy to use, and they even rank the most popular places for you. While you're on their website, don't forget to vote for our show, Don't Hassle Us for Local, and all of our show sponsors.
Hey, this is Goose, PA announcer for the Quad City Storm, and you're listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local on ESPN 93.5.
Do it again, a little more heart.
Eat fresh and save money. That's our commitment at Nolly's Kitchen. Our homemade corn tortilla and gorditas are both delicious and gluten-free. Nolly's always uses lean meat, and they offer low-carb and vegetarian options. Taste their one-of-a-kind menu items like empanadas, churros, enchiladas, and tamales. Carry out available or order online for faster service at nollyskitchen.com. Plus, check out their express menu and get your food in 15 minutes or less. Nolly's Kitchen, old-fashioned Mexican cooking. Rockingham and Division, Davenport.
Did you see that game last night?
Ooh, instant classic.
I can't believe how much Burton was sweating in the ninth. You could see each bead dripping off his brow.
I didn't see him sweating.
My girlfriend was blown away by his clear skin. She kept going on and on about what his daily regime is. It was pretty impressive. I'm sure you noticed that.
Yeah, I didn't notice his smooth skin.
Either you don't have a girlfriend or you don't have DirecTV.
I don't have either, actually.
Wow. Really?
Live sports that aren't in 4K are just kinda TV. Only DirecTV has the most live sports in 4K. Don't just kinda TV, DirecTV. Switch from Dish and get a $200 reward card. Limited 4K programming available. Requires entertainment package or higher and compatible equipment. Reward card with 24-month agreement. Maintain service and redeem within 75 days. Card within 4 weeks. Limited time offer. Select markets only. Requires 2-room setup. Minimum $47 per month for 12 months after discount. Price is higher in second year. New residential customers only. Equipment lease, activation, installation, early termination, equipment non-return, and other charges and restrictions apply.
From the first pitch to the last out, you'll hear every inning of Chicago Cubs baseball on ESPN 93.5.
He's at the warning track. It's at the wall. Solo.
Presented by Frick's Tap, Glens Creek Golf Course, G&G Retailers, Augustana College Athletic Department, Sexton Ford, American Family Insurance, Adam Rattler Agency.
Game over. Cubs win.
The Chicago Cubs are on the Quad Cities sports leader, ESPN 93.5.
Your garage is cluttered. Instead of a place to park your car, you've got sports equipment, lawn tools, half-finished projects and a workbench that hasn't been touched in years. Tailored Living of the Quad Cities can take your garage from clutter and chaos to functional and fun. Whether you want a killer man cave or just to get clean and organized with an epoxy floor and custom garage cabinets, we've got you covered. Hi, I'm Amy. Schedule your free in-home consultation at tailoredliving.com and you and I will design the garage of your dreams.
Catch every swing, double play, and home run at the Quad Cities Home for Sports, Fricks Tap in Davenport. Don't miss a single inning on their 23 TVs. Enjoy the best daily food and drink specials in town. Throwback $2 domestic tall boys, $3 cooler shots, $4 burger baskets, and raffles during every live Cubs broadcast. Fricks is your place to be for every game. Come for the game and stay for the fun with live music, DJs, and karaoke. Fricks Tap, good people and good beer, served properly. West 3rd Street, Davenport.
From the first pitch to the last out, you'll hear every inning of Chicago Cubs baseball on ESPN 93.5.
He's at the warning track. It's at the wall. Solo.
Presented by Helitech, absolutely dry basement waterproofing. Crawford Company, Wheelan Presley Funeral Home and Crematory, Sheedy Family Chiropractic.
Game over. Cubs win.
The Chicago Cubs are on the Quad Cities sports leader, ESPN 93.5.
Staring at stars. It's been a long, long road to knock on your door. Back in 1984.
We're back in the Hassel Palace here on ESPN 93.5 KJOC. Thanks to the Dawn from their Live at the Raccoon Motel album. In studio right now with me at the Hassel Palace, brought to you by Dunright TV and Satellite Solutions. Adam Rosso from WHBF, Hawkeye headquarters as well. All right, Adam, I think some of the questions that we're getting on Facebook comment thread basically have mostly to do with the Hawkeyes. Why don't we recklessly speculate where we think they're going, where some of them are going to go?
All right, let's get into it. I know a couple of you guys asked on the Facebook thread there about Hawkinson's hype and if it's George Kittle's pumping that up a little bit.
It's a great question.
It is a great question. Two of you guys asked that. So I replied back, but basically I think a lot of Hawkinson's hype has to do with the fact that there's not really that strong of a skill player class on the offensive side. I think a lot of people thinking there maybe won't be more than one receiver taken, maybe two in the first round, depending on the late round stuff. I think that'd be probably Metcalf and Marquise Brown, Oklahoma and Ole Miss kid. And then, as far as running backs, Josh Jacobs is really the only one that it's even getting talked about in the first round. So you have two positions there where at most you're going to get three guys, and I doubt that both those receivers go. So then you're looking at your skill positions, and there's there's those teams, and starting with probably Jacksonville at 7. They need help. They need help on the offensive line. They need help on just having some weapons. Jacksonville, Detroit, Denver, Green Bay, even Cincinnati, Buffalo. All those teams really could use skill guys, but the only guys that maybe are worth taking that high would probably, if you look at a lot of drafts, be Hawkinson. I think that's interesting too because tight ends don't go that high. Ebron is the only one to go in the top, I think, 18 since Vernon Davis in 06. So you don't have a lot of a precedent, but I also think you don't have a great offensive skill class. So while Kittle obviously excels, he was a 5th-round pick, and he was really athletic coming out of Iowa. He just had a lot of injuries. So I don't know if that helps or hurts because if you're looking at that saying, well, they got Kittle in the 5th. Do we really want to spend our 7th overall pick on TJ Hawkinson when he's, relatively comparable, maybe does a few things better than George, but is he 4 rounds better, 140 picks better than George Kittle? I don't know. So that's the interesting stuff with the draft. So we can get into it, Jamie. What do you think actually? Like what's your, if you're in the war room and you're sitting there and you're Matt Patricia and the GM of the Lions at 8 and TJ's on the board and you need to replace Ziggy Ansah, who is the pass rusher. You need to protect Stafford, and you also know you probably need to accumulate some picks because you were the worst team in the NFC North last year.
I am honestly looking for an offensive lineman. I think the longevity is there more in an offensive lineman. And like you said, you have to protect Stafford or however long he's there, and he's got this contract. But I'm looking more at an offensive lineman, or in Matt Patricia's head, defensive-minded defensive lineman.
Oh, and then we talked off air. I mean, the defensive line is stacked in this draft. You have Williams, you have Ed Oliver, you have Bosa, you have a couple guys that are edge players, that outside linebackers / edge rushers. So I think there's a lot of talent in that first round. The interesting thing that I think with Detroit or with Miami, anybody that has this Patriots offspring, let's say, what are the Patriots the best at doing in the league? Accumulating draft picks and trading back. So I just don't think at 8. I think Detroit either goes D-line or they trade back. I just can't see Hockenson being the guy there, especially with the fact that how many years, I know this is a long time ago, did they take offensive skill guys, whether it be receivers or taking Ebron, taking guys early in the first round that were offensive skill guys that really didn't pan out in Detroit. I mean, other than Calvin Johnson, they didn't have a very good string of players in the first round that did very well.
Yeah, but you're assuming that Patricia is calling the shots on the draft.
I think he is. Look at last year when he kind of controlled what they did and how they did it and practicing outside. I think he has a lot more say than maybe a more structured GM coach situation like Gettleman and Shermer in New York, let's say.
All right, and then you're also saying that when he was at New England, he is coming out of there thinking, I'm going to mirror a lot of the things that was successful there. I've mentioned this, and I'm not the only one. It's always a thing that you need to kind of cock your head and go, as soon as the Patriots open the door when someone offers a job, and they don't lure you back like a McDaniels or anything. So, but pulling back, I could see it. But if you think he's calling the shots, then he's calling the shots. You have someone like in New York where Gettleman, he's calling the shots.
Yep.
And he's definitely saying, I'm drafting who I want to draft. So.
And we'll get into it now. I think they hold the keys to this first round. Them and Oakland. I do think Murray's going to go 1.
Can I say real quick? Gruden just sent his entire staff home, his entire draft staff, and said there's a mole here, or is that really the case? Or
I've been listening to some of the national guys on Friday talk and just reading about it. It's not as uncommon as maybe people made it out to seem. I think they do. Obviously not want stuff leaked to the media. That's their number one thing. But I think also, from what, I can't remember who said this. One of the national guys on NFL Network said, I think they also those two want to make the decisions, Mike Mayock and Gruden.
Okay.
And so you get, it's almost like you have too many cooks in the kitchens. The scouts have done their work. The scouts have presented to them what they think is going to be the best path, or who they think the best players are going to be with their 3 first-round picks. Now it's up to Gruden and Mayock to prioritize, to decide what they agree with, what they don't agree with. And I think at the end of the day, who's going to lose their jobs first? Mayock and Gruden. In 3 years, if the Raiders are in the playoffs in 2 years, 3 years, what'd they get out of 3 first-round picks and trading Khalil Mack and kind of overhauling this entire roster? Their names are going to be on this. So from that sense, I mean, they're taking ownership, and they don't want picks leaked. There was a guy that, I don't know if it was Gil Brandt or somebody that was, it was Gil Brandt, I think, the old Cowboys GM, said back in the day, to flesh out a mole of one of their scouts, they basically faked a pick and said, all right, we're going to pick this guy. This is why we really like this guy on the defensive line, whatever. Well, then, 2 days before the draft, the Dallas Morning News writes a story on how the Cowboys are going to probably pick this guy, and then they knew right then who the mole was.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting cat and mouse game. I mean, there's so many smoke screens and everything going up right now. I don't know, but back to the original point.
Yes,
I think
I'm sorry, but yeah.
So they have 5 first-round picks between them, the Giants and the Raiders. I really think the Raiders want a quarterback. You just the stuff you got with last season and this season with Derek Carr. He came out on social media. He just didn't seem happy. I don't think him and Gruden hit it off, and I think Gruden kind of wants his own guy. So my question would be, do the Raiders move up to 1, take Murray, Cardinals move down to 4? Or do they think Arizona's bluffing, sit at 4, If they don't get Murray, then they still have 2 first-round picks at the end, where maybe in the teens they come up and get Dwayne Haskins or Drew Lock. I think those two are the next 2 off the board, and I do think they're both going to be first-round picks, even if we maybe don't think they are worthy of that. I think Lock and Haskins are going to be first round. But then you also have the Giants at 6 saying, all right, do they want Haskins? Do they want Lock? Because Murray's probably not going to be there at 6. And if they don't, and they stay and they take somebody else at 6, like a D lineman, do they then take somebody at 17, or do they try to use the 17th pick to maybe move up to a couple slots to get one of those other quarterbacks? So those 2 teams, I think, really kind of hold the key to all this. That being said, I think Hockenson goes to the Packers. I really do.
I just love everything you did there.
It's just a big circle because I just think I really think that Haskins will get taken in the top 10, whether the Giants do or not. I think somebody moves up.
I do not think the Giants are going to take Haskins.
And if they don't, then the other interesting aspect is is Washington, because Washington's at 15. The Giants don't take Haskins at 6. Does Washington come up to 7 or to 8? 2 teams that have quarterbacks, Nick Foles to the Jags, Stafford to the Lions. Do they come up to 7 or 8 and say, hey, we're going to pull the trigger on Haskins, knowing that maybe at 10, I'm trying to think who's 9. 9's Buffalo, so they could even move to 9. But knowing at 10 that Denver, the long-term answer isn't Joe Flacco. It's not. So does Denver take a quarterback at 10? So do they want to jump? I think somebody, if the Giants don't take Haskins, somebody jumps to 7 to 9 and takes him. And that's why I was saying the most logical is Detroit, because Detroit has some New England Patriots blood in it, and the Patriots love trading back. And going from 8 to 15, you still might be able to get Hockenson.
You might.
Maybe. Or you're going to get a good defensive lineman, because there's so many good defensive linemen / edge rushers in this draft.
I've seen TJ to Bill. I mean, you've seen it all too. TJ to the Bills, TJ to the Broncos. CBS Sports has Drew Lock both times for the Broncos at 10. Another one, TJ's there too. Now, I don't think the Giants are going to go Haskins. Of course, what I really liked was I liked Haskins at 11 to the Bengals, just to keep that whole in Ohio type of thing. But yeah, where the Raiders are going, the Raiders draft is going to be interesting because just so much, and there's like a zig when they zag type of thing, and maybe send him home at it where.
And doesn't it feel like Gruden's that type of
100%
manager, that type of executive, if you will? He wants to make a splash.
Of course.
That's why I think
he wants the draft to be his. He wants to control the draft.
And I think if they really like Murray, they might move up to 1 to get him. If not, and they like one of these other quarterbacks, then I see them taking defense at 4, and then those 2 picks that they have at the end of the first round, maybe they package those up and, like I said, move into the teens or move, right around 10th to try to get Haskins or Drew Lock. I don't know. You're reading some of these things that Haskins is sliding, but then you read the other people say, well, Gettleman loves Haskins, but he doesn't know if he wants to take him at 6. So does Haskins get to 17? I don't think so. It's all this, like I said, cat and mouse game. The teams I was down to with TJ was Denver, Green Bay, and then actually Tennessee at 19. I think Denver, I can't even remember the guy's name, Jeff Herneman or something like that, is their number 1 tight end. Denver doesn't have a good tight end. It comes down to, does John Elway think the 10th overall pick is worthy of spending on a tight end? That isn't a game breaker athletically. And I keep coming back to that, and I know people are probably like, God, get over it. It's the tape, whatever. And I agree. I think Iowa guys have excelled because they've been downgraded because they aren't elite athletes. Look at Des King.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you have to think in a war room as a GM saying, man, is the 10th pick, our first round pick, a guy that's got to make an impact next year, is that worth spending on a tight end?
Okay. Let me ask you, in all the time that John Elway's been running this, do you think he's going to spend the 10th overall pick on a tight end?
No, I don't.
No, neither do I.
I don't. Not at all.
Not one bit. Like I said, I think Drew Lock is there, and I think that's pretty much where they're going to go.
Well, you got to think their head coaches now, too. I mean, Vic, it's Fangio, and Fangio's a defensive guy, and they already have a lot of really good defensive players. I mean, that's their strength right now. But I think Fangio's a little like Mike Zimmer and the Vikes, where you can never have too many good corners. You can never have too many good defensive linemen. Look at Chicago. They took linebackers 2 years in a row in the first round, right? Mm-hmm. With Floyd and Roquan Smith. You can never have too many studs on defense. And I think Fangio, I think he'll push them to try to take a defensive player. Like if maybe the kid from Michigan, Stiller Bush, or maybe
Devin White from LSU.
Yep, those guys. Those guys are there, man. I feel like he snaps them up, and they kind of roll the dice in the second round with possibly a tight end or something else, or they trade back in and get a quarterback. But I think they the last 2 years, them going for Keenum and now getting Flacco, it seems to me after Osweiler and Paxton Lynch that Elway's not big on spending early picks at quarterback. I think he's maybe learned his lesson, which is why I think I don't know if Locke will be in play at 10 either, unless they really think he's dynamite.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Is he twice bitten, third time shy or not? And I don't. That's the part I don't know. I keep looking at the Redskins making that trade for Rosen. They don't have anybody. So that's the only one I look at. But the one thing I keep asking is Rosen worth that pick there? I mean, he dropped a little bit last year. He went in the teens, and now you look at it and say, now if they take Kyler Murray, you can call Arizona's bluff. And you can say, like, I'm not going to give you this pick, or maybe if I trade down and move some things around. But
well, I think Arizona's got to trade before. If they're going to trade Rosen, they have to do it before they take Murray, right?
You would think.
Because then they have they don't have any leverage. You have 2 first-round quarterbacks on your roster, and then what are you going to say? You go, okay, you just want to sit on Rosen then? They're just going to wait for the perfect offer? That's a disastrous move. It's one thing to have a first round and a fifth round, rookie or second-year quarterback. 2 top 12 picks, and you're going to try to get trade offers after that?
Don't you think they would be working something by now? Or they're just going to wait for the day?
It has been eerily quiet on the trade front, and I agree with that. But I think this is, devil's advocate, just opposite of what I said. I think they don't want to take him at 1. And I think the teams know that. So I think their trade offers for Rosen have probably already been depressed because they're trying to call their bluff. I just can't. They sucked last year, right? And when you have that many holes and you already have a first-round quarterback who got his head torn off last year multiple times, I feel like they don't. They're saying all the right things about Murray and maybe throwing out some things that, he's 100% their guy. But if they're not going to trade offer they like, then they're in a rock and a hard place.
You got to read this article in SI about Kyler Murray. It's a Lonzo Ball-ish adjacent type of thing going on here. His dad has been basically his offensive coordinator since age 9. And they keep a real small family. And the question is, you have Baker Mayfield, who is he's a leader on the field, off the field, period. And Kyler Murray they question his leadership. And again, he's getting his head taken off every play. What is he going to be able to round the troops up? You don't think they want to take him at 1?
I don't know. You look at, when the Rams traded for Goff 4 years ago or whatever. Mm-hmm. That trade was right around now. It was at least a week out. I just think if they got an offer that they liked, they would pull the trigger. And I think that's part of the problem, is that teams aren't maybe offering what the Cardinals think they should get for Rosen, because they don't. They're going to say, all right, take Murray then. If you're going to sit there and you're going to want more out of our offer, well, then you take the second first-round quarterback that you have on your roster and deal with it after that, because nobody's going to, Rosen's not going to be happy. Nobody that's competitive is going to be happy, and they're not going to sit him and just let him age on the bench when, his trade value is the highest right now. Mm-hmm. And I don't think keeping him on the bench, whether it's now or whether it's right after they take Murray, I don't think anybody's going to give them more than what they could get right now.
And I don't think it's as high as they think it is, though.
I don't know. We didn't see a lot out of Rosen, He's, in looking at some of the reasonable offers or reasonable people that rank quarterbacks every year. Basically, they're ranking Murray right alongside him. And that's where you got to trust, I guess, their in-house scouting. I think maybe the interesting thing to watch is Kingsbury's influence on this draft, because it kind of comes down to him, right? He's the one that's going to be working with either Murray or Rosen. So what does he like out of their skill set, and what does he think fits better with their offensive scheme?
Let's keep talking about this when we come back from break. I want to talk a little bit about, is his stock drop just a little bit, because we need to look at where he's drafted at last year and the teams that passed on him last year and what they may think now. First, I want to remind everybody, Front Street Brewery is the oldest brew pub in the state of Iowa, nestled beautifully along the bank of the mighty Mississippi, and has served the fine community of Davenport since 1992. Some of the beers that they have on tap: the Davenport Gold, a satisfying American ale; the Wise Guy, our take on the instantly recognizable German wheat; and the Raging River, which is $1 off right now while the Mississippi River is flooded. It's an English-inspired American India Pale Ale. Calling on all bars, restaurants, get a hold of your local distributor and put Front Street on tap or in your cooler today. That's Front Street Brewery, 208 East River Drive, and the tap room near the Freight House Complex.
Are you retired? Don't want full-time? Have a CDLA? We've got the perfect job for you. This is Eric at Winger Truckline, where flexible home time really means something. You don't have to drive for us full-time. Tell us when you want to work. Work the days you want. At Winger Truckline, we respect you and what's important to you. Drive for Winger and you'll see. We say what we mean, and we mean what we say. Call me today at Winger Truckline, 800-593-6433, or visit drivewtl.com.
From the first pitch to the last out, you'll hear every inning of Chicago Cubs baseball on ESPN 93.5.
He's at the warning track. It's at the wall. Solo.
Presented by Helitech, absolutely dry basement waterproofing. Crawford Company, Wheelan Presley Funeral Home and Crematory, Sheedy Family Chiropractic.
Game over. Cubs win.
The Chicago Cubs are on the Quad Cities sports leader, ESPN 93.5.
Eat fresh and save money. That's our commitment at Nolly's Kitchen. Our homemade corn tortilla and gorditas are both delicious and gluten-free. Nolly's always uses lean meat, and they offer low-carb and vegetarian options. Taste their one-of-a-kind menu items like empanadas, churros, enchiladas, and tamales. Carry out available or order online for faster service at nollyskitchen.com. Plus, check out their express menu and get your food in 15 minutes or less. Nolly's Kitchen, old-fashioned Mexican cooking. Rockingham and Division, Davenport.
Did you see that game last night?
Ooh, instant classic.
I can't believe how much Burton was sweating in the ninth. You could see each bead dripping off his brow.
I didn't see him sweating.
My girlfriend was blown away by his clear skin. She kept going on and on about what his daily regime is. It was pretty impressive. I'm sure you noticed that.
Yeah, I didn't notice his smooth skin.
Either you don't have a girlfriend or you don't have DirecTV.
I don't have either, actually.
Wow. Really?
Live sports that aren't in 4K are just kinda TV. Only DirecTV has the most live sports in 4K. Don't just kinda TV, DirecTV. Switch from Dish and get a $200 reward card. Limited 4K programming available. Requires entertainment package or higher and compatible equipment. Reward card with 24-month agreement. Maintain service and redeem within 75 days. Card within 4 weeks. Limited time offer. Select markets only. Requires 2-room setup. Minimum $47 per month for 12 months after discount. Price is higher in second year. New residential customers only. Equipment lease, activation, installation, early termination, equipment non-return, and other charges and restrictions apply.
Your garage is cluttered. Instead of a place to park your car, you've got sports equipment, lawn tools, half-finished projects, and a workbench that hasn't been touched in years. Tailored Living of the Quad Cities can take your garage from clutter and chaos to functional and fun. Whether you want a killer man cave or just to get clean and organized with an epoxy floor and custom garage cabinets, we've got you covered. Hi, I'm Amy. Schedule your free in-home consultation at tailoredliving.com and you and I will design the garage of your dreams.
At Menards, nobody beats our prices, so you can save big money on all your storage needs. needs. Store mowers, trimmers, and more with Suncast storage sheds. The Tremont series is made of durable resin. Right now, pick up an 8x10 storage shed for just $998 after rebate. Get this and other great savings during Menards Spring Catalog Sale. Now through May 5th. Plus, a Menards gift card is perfect for Mother's Day.
Save big money at Menards.
Here are the top 10 reasons to join Tarpons Martial Arts Center. 10. They've been voted the best martial arts instruction by locals love us. 9. It's fun for all ages. 8. Kickboxing and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu will definitely get you in shape. 7. Everyone wants more self-confidence. 6. You've always wanted to try martial arts. 5. Tarpons has certified black belt instructors. 4. It gets the kids out of the house. 3. Did I mention it's fun? 2. Get a free set of foam nunchucks with a new membership. And the number one reason to join Tarpons Martial Arts Center, it's easy to start your lessons today. Visit tarponsdojo.com. Martial Arts Center. Voted the best martial arts instruction by locals love us. It's fun for all ages. Kickboxing and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu will definitely get you in shape. Everyone wants more self-confidence. You've always wanted to try martial arts. I never meant to certified black belt instructors. It gets the kids out of the house. Bring it down. It's fun too. Get a free set of foam nunchucks. Never meant to cause you. The number one reason to join Tarpons Martial Arts Center. I'm around. I never meant to do you wrong.
All right, we're back in the studio, ESPN 93.5 at the Hassel Palace, brought to you by Done Right TV and Satellite Solutions. Just came in the studio, threw up the Matt signal. Matt Erickson's in here, going to help us talk about the draft a little bit, and he's going to help us run the Vance Pizza Pub and Grill Facebook comment line. Also in studio with me from WHBF and Hawkeye headquarters, Adam Rosso.
Got some breaking news, too.
Yeah.
Thursday night. Hey, if you guys are football fans, which a lot of you are, who isn't these days, right? NFL draft time. I love this stuff. Jay, I told you it's one of my favorite events of the year. So this Thursday, we put something together. We want you guys to join us at Kavanaugh's Hilltop Bar and Grill for the unofficial kickoff to the NFL draft weekend in Rock Island. Of course, Rock Island over on Saturday is going to host and have that first, or the NFL pick. They're going to have that legendary game, the 1920s NFL 100 celebration. Ken Anderson's going to be there announcing that 6th-round pick over at Augie. But on Thursday, I want you guys to join me, Adam Rosso, all the guys from ESPN 93.5, as we will be on site and streaming live on Facebook for the entire first round to provide you analysis and welcome some guests on the show. I know we got Steve Bell from Augustana lined up. We got a few more special guests coming in, so that should be pretty cool. Front Street Brewery is going to be tapping a special Firkin just for this event. Kavanaugh's $150 draft, $6 tenderloin, so you can get full of food and drink for very cheap. Prize giveaways and also special guest appearances. And just breaking, we just posted this on the Drafts party page on Facebook. 4 pairs of tickets to the next Steelers game. We're going to be giving away 2 pairs of tickets to any Lumber Kings game, and then not anything to shy away from here. 1 pair of day passes to the JDC. So a lot of giveaways. We're going to have more and more coming up. We're going to be updating that Facebook page. So come on out Thursday night. Should be really fun. We'll have the live analysis and check out where some of the Hawkeyes go, and obviously talk football. So April football. Everybody's got to be optimistic. Even you Bears fans that don't have a first-round pick, hey, everybody's got to be optimistic after this one. Everybody's winning double digits. Everybody's going to the playoffs.
This is my favorite thing about the Quad Cities, when you just get a few people together and you just start spitballing ideas. And we talked about this. We didn't know if you were going to be in Nashville. And then when we were at the announcement, I ran into Ryan, and he was like, hey, well, I know Kavanaugh's. And then Kavanaugh's wanted to get on board, and we all just messaged each other. We met. And we just kind of threw the idea together. So like you said, tickets to Steamwheelers, tickets to River Bandits. The JDC is huge. I contacted Front Street Brewery. They're going to make a firkin for the event. So they're going to be tapping that there. We're going to have, like I said, Coach Bell. Ken Anderson's going to be there. Who knows who else we're going to get a hold of. We're going to keep working this up till the last minute. We're going to put this thing on Facebook Live. We're going to get our analysis, and we're going to have giveaways. Just tons of things to give away. We have a lot of vendors that are giving things away. So that's what makes it so much fun, when everybody gets involved and everybody wants to do something. And it is a big deal that we're having it at Rock Island. And let's be honest, the draft isn't coming back to the Quad Cities unless we put together a first rounder and the guy decides that he's not going to go to the draft, and there's going to be a draft party somewhere. So we're going to do our own official type of draft.
And you never know. 6th-round picks, you never know. Who knows if in 5 years that guy's an all-pro? You just never know.
No.
There's definitely guys like that. I think, I want to say Matt Burke from the Vikings was a 6th or 7th-round pick. All-pro center. There's guys like that come up all the time. Obviously, Brady was was Brady a 5th or 6th?
He was a 6th.
Brady was a 6th.
Yeah.
There you go. Next Tom Brady. Kenny Anderson announcing the next Tom Brady from Augustana. How about that?
That'd be great. Erickson, welcome to the show, buddy.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I was in the area. Just had to come by and say hi.
Appreciate it. Help us out on the Vance Pizza Pub and Grill Facebook comment line. But
For sure.
On the commercial, you were saying though that, yes, the Bears fans, there's not a lot out there for the picks first round, but it's going to be, just wait and see what other teams are doing. But the Packers is what you got your eye on, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Other news, did you see who the Packers just signed for their social media director?
I did not.
Not director. She's working for social media. Do you remember back before the national title, we had a young lady from the University of Iowa, Jennifer Fisher, on? She did the national championship game. For Instagram.
Oh, yes. She
Absolutely. Is going to be working for the Green Bay Packers.
That's cool.
Now.
Oh,
yeah,
very
she
cool.
just announced it last night, so I'm very proud of Jennifer.
I thought you were going to say the Salt Lake City AAF affiliate media director. I was like, oh, all right, that's
Chantel. No, we got to see how she's doing as well.
So, Erickson, what do you think? Hawkinson and Green Bay, and I didn't get to elaborate before the break, so I'll elaborate here. Matt LaFleur likes tight ends. They ran a lot of 2 tight end set in Tennessee. He worked for Kyle Shanahan in Washington and Atlanta. They run a lot of 2 tight end sets in those 2 settings. And, of course, Shanahan now has George Kittle. Do you think Hawkinson, how confident are you Hawkinson could be the pick, and what do you think about it?
Well, I mean, I don't see him being there. There's the Bills need a tight end, and so does the Jags. So, and he's the consensus number 1. So I just don't see him being there. And that being said, I like DK Metcalf, the Packers. I think Devontae Adams needs a Robin to go. He's Batman. So
have you seen Metcalf? He's not built like Robin.
True. He might end up being. He's 6'3", 220. He ran a 4.33 in the combine. Bench press 27 reps. Just an absolute freak. Jumped out of the gym. The only thing that scares people about him is his shuttle. Tom Brady's shuttle was better than DK Metcalf's. He redid it again at his pro day.
Yeah, I bet he did.
But it was.
And I bet you it was better
off a
too.
couple, some tenths of a second off that. But they're worried about his route running ability coming out of breaks. I watched a lot of film on him, and the dude just doesn't need to go. What the Packers need is a Tyreek Hill, and I think that he can do that for us. Somebody that's going to spread out the field, open up the middle of the field for us, and then later in the first round, maybe go out and get a Fant if he's still available. That'd be my dream scenario there.
He might be the most Metcalf talking now. He might be the most polarizing guy. Like I got people saying he could be taken as high as 9. The Bills need receiver. They need weapons for Josh Allen. But then you have people saying, no, he's not even going to be in the first round. So that type of gradient or that type of spectrum from a top 10 pick to out of the first round he's one of the unique guys this year. There's always a couple guys that have that high ceiling and then, the low floor, the big wide variety. I said off air and I'll say it on air, he's my first round bust if he goes first round. I don't know why. It's something about him, but I just think I don't know. I think guys like that get hyped up on their physical talents don't always pan out at positions where almost everybody is a physical freak, and that's a receiver. Like the guy from the Bengals that ran that fast 40 time a couple years ago, John Ross. Mm-hmm. He's been average to below average, and he was taken in the top 10, I think, because he was fast. I don't know. And then you look at a guy like Antonio Brown, who's widely regarded as the best route runner in the league. That shuttle time. I think that shuttle time matters, and I think that when you're matched up against, corners that are as fast as you, not as big, you got to be able to separate and get open, and you got to do that with footwork and technique. And we're talking Hawkinson. That's why Hawkinson gets open when he's not a 4-5 guy, because of his technique, because of his foot quickness, and because of his ability to run routes. I don't know. You said you watched more tape than I did on Metcalf. I don't know his route running ability, but that to me is going to determine if he's a first round pick and if he's taken as high as 9 or 12, or if he falls out, if people just say, no, he's not consistent running routes, and we can't take a chance on him just because of his athletic ability. Darius Hayward-Bay comes to mind. When Oakland took him really high just because he's a Blazer. And Oakland was notorious under Al Davis doing that stuff.
Yes.
But a lot of times it didn't pan out because there's so much more technical stuff that has to take place in the NFL. Not to mention his ability to recognize coverages and to change on the fly. And I don't know. You never know what these college programs ask of their guys, and that's where I think again with Hawkinson, everybody knows Kirk Ferentz and the system, and they know what they ask their tight ends to do, and they know what they're asked their receivers to do, and that's where there's no question of what they're getting in terms of football IQ when they come out of the Iowa program. Metcalf and Ole Miss, I don't know. I don't know if you can say the same about those guys.
The other Iowa Hawkeyes that are in there, what are you liking?
Fant. It's weird to me now. I've seen Fant bump up in some final mock drafts, which I don't know. I think he has just as much potential as Hawkinson to be an impact player right away. I think it's all about the scheme he's in. He's not going to be a 3-down, hand in the ground tight end. He's just not. That's not the way he is. He can obviously do it, but I think he's best flexed out on the edge, put in the slot, creating mismatches with linebackers or safeties. And I think it just depends on the scheme fit. So, and the thing I'm going to release today on Hawkeye Headquarters, we'll have more tonight on the news here on Local 4 as well. I'm going to talk about this, but I have him to Oakland at the end of the first round at 27.
That's a good pick.
But it wouldn't surprise me, and I write this, it wouldn't surprise me if a team like Denver or Jacksonville or even the Packers, if they don't take Hawkinson, they sit on him and take him late in that first round, or Denver trades back in if Fant starts slipping, because I do think he's the case where they know he was in a good program at Iowa. We know he's been taught well. And if they, think he can improve or at least maintain his ability in the blocking game or in the technical aspects, his athleticism speaks for itself. So I think he goes first round. I think it's going to be late. I saw there was an over-under for him at 24.5, which is obviously right smack of in a Raiders pick, right?
Yeah.
So I think he goes above that, mostly because I think there's a lot of trades that happen that quarterbacks are going to be inflated like we talked. A lot of these defensive linemen are going to go before Fant. And then there's that, 2 or 3 group of O-linemen, the Florida kid, the Washington State kid, the Alabama kid. All those 3 are going to be in the top 20. So it'll be interesting with me. The other 2, we'll rattle them off quick. I think Hooker's a borderline second-round guy, but I think ultimately he'll fall to the 3rd. And then Anthony Nelson is, there again, a product of a deep D-line class. I think Nelson goes 4th round. So I have 2 Hawkeyes in the first, the tight ends. Hooker, late 3rd round, mid 3rd round, and then Anthony Nelson, early 4th round. So all 4 of them, I think, within the top 125 picks.
The other one thing we forgot to mention, I believe at the 3rd spot, is the New York Jets, who have pretty much all but come out and said they want to trade down. So that's where another wrinkle comes into everything as well. Who gets into that 3rd spot?
Well, they need a pass rusher, and they know they could get a pass rusher at 5, right?
Yeah.
If they trade, or 6 or whatever.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to get Bosa. Most likely. Quentin Williams is a D tackle, which they really need edge guys. So you're looking at the kid from Kentucky, Allen, and you're looking at Bush, who we talked about, or you're looking at Devin White from LSU. And all 3 of those players should be there in that 5, 6, 7 range. I thought I saw a trade partner could be Atlanta, because Atlanta really needs defensive linemen too. But if you're the Jets and you go from 3 to Atlanta 16, I think, or 17, that's a big drop to me. And then you don't get your pick of those edge rushers, which the Jets were bad last year, right? And they tried to sign Anthony Barr, and he backed out. I think it's Greg Williams the coordinator there now, I believe. I think it's Greg Williams. So they're going to want to get after the quarterback. That's the type of defense he runs, aggressive, and needs a pass rusher like that to anchor down. We'll see. The Jets actually, I think, are in a good position. I really do, because Brady's got to retire eventually, first of all. The rest of that division, I put the Jets in a better position than Buffalo. And I think Darnold, could take a step this year. It'll be interesting to see, but they just don't. You don't get any favors playing the Patriots twice a year in that division.
No. But to sit there and say, I guess it's a matter of everybody in the East is just trusting the process, and the process is someday Brady's going to retire.
Right. Yeah. That's why. What's the point of Miami trying to take a quarterback this year and trying to contend? They're not going to win the division.
That schedule is not favorable for them whatsoever.
So why bother? And
Yeah.
I think the Jets last year, they have some good pieces on defense too. Don't get me wrong. So they keep adding to that defense. You hope Darnold progresses similar to Trubisky. Year 2, I think
Le'Veon Bell pans out.
I think the Jets. I'm not going to say this year could be a playoff team, but I think next year they could be a definite playoff team. If they continue to build on what they have.
I think a lot of it also how they change their offense for Bell, as well.
No, I mean they have him now, right? They have a weapon. They have a bona fide weapon. And I think the Robbie Anderson kid's a decent receiver.
Yeah.
What their other receivers were kind of retreads last year, if I remember right.
It just seems like they're on it just seems like they're on their third team, other receivers that they get. So, we need to take one more break, but can I keep you on just for a little bit longer, talk NBA?
Yeah,
and then
definitely.
I know you got to go, but let's take one more quick break and come back and we'll talk NBA, because playoffs are getting the first round just about over, and I want to ask you about some of the teams that in the East and West where you see this going.
This is Tom Kakert from HawkeyeReport.com, and you are listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local on ESPN 93.5.
Dynamic Power Racing Technology is a one-stop shop for all your street and racing needs. Better handling, routine maintenance, or more power, Dynamic Power offers a complete in-house machine shop with computerized balancing, dyno testing, and cylinder head repair. From full engine rebuilds to brand-name parts, at Dynamic Power, we work with you to give you the best build for your budget. Track-tested, customer-approved. Dynamic Power in Moline. Call 762-2323. That's 762-2323.
Did you see that game last night?
Ooh, instant classic.
I can't believe how much Burton was sweating in the ninth. You could see each bead dripping off his brow.
I didn't see him sweating.
My girlfriend was blown away by his clear skin. She kept going on and on about what his daily regime is. It was pretty impressive. I'm sure you noticed that.
Yeah, I didn't notice his smooth skin.
Either you don't have a girlfriend or you don't have DirecTV.
I don't have either, actually.
Wow. Really?
Live sports that aren't in 4K are just kinda TV. Only DirecTV has the most live sports in 4K. Don't just kinda TV, DirecTV. Switch from Dish and get a $200 reward card. Limited 4K programming available. Requires entertainment package or higher and compatible equipment. Reward card with 24-month agreement. Maintain service and redeem within 75 days. Card within 4 weeks. Limited time offer. Select markets only. Requires 2-room setup. Minimum $47 per month for 12 months after discount. Price is higher in second year. New residential customers only. Equipment lease, activation, installation, early termination, equipment non-return, and other charges and restrictions apply.
From the first pitch to the last out, you'll hear every inning of Chicago Cubs baseball on ESPN 93.5.
He's at the warning track. It's at the wall. Solo.
Presented by Helitech, absolutely dry basement waterproofing. Crawford Company, Whelan Presley Funeral Home and Crematory, Sheedy Family Chiropractic.
Game over. Cubs win.
The Chicago Cubs are on the Quad Cities sports leader, ESPN 93.5.
At Menards, nobody beats our prices, so you can save big money on all your storage needs. Store mowers, trimmers, and more with Suncast storage sheds. The Tremont series is made of durable resin. Right now, pick up an 8x10 storage shed for just $998 after rebate. Get this and other great savings during Menards Spring Catalog Sale. Now through May 5th. Plus, a Menards gift card is perfect for Mother's Day.
Save big money at Menards.
Are you retired? Don't want full-time? Have a CDLA? We've got the perfect job for you. This is Eric at Winger Truck Line, where flexible home time really means something. You don't have to drive for us full-time. Tell us when you want to work. Work the days you want. At Winger Truck Line, we respect you and what's important to you. Drive for Winger and you'll see. We say what we mean, and we mean what we say. Call me today at Winger Truck Line, 800-593-6433, or visit drivewtl.com.
Your garage is cluttered. Instead of a place to park your car, you've got sports equipment, lawn tools, half-finished projects, and a workbench that hasn't been touched in years. Tailored Living of the Quad Cities can take your garage from clutter and chaos to functional and fun. Whether you want a killer man cave or just to get clean and organized with an epoxy floor and custom garage cabinets, we've got you covered. Hi, I'm Amy. Schedule your free in-home consultation at tailoredliving.com and you and I will design the garage of your dreams.
Welcome back to ESPN 93.5. This is Don't Hassle for Local. We're in the Hassle Palace, brought to you by Done Right TV and Satellite Solutions. Matt Erickson's running the Vance Pizza Pub and Grill Facebook comment line and helping us out, talk a little bit about the draft. Adam Rosso's in from WHBF Hawkeye headquarters as well. T-Roy and Serge are out on assignment. They're busy. They took too many bumps last night at the WWE live event, so they've got to lick their wounds and everything. Adam and I and Erickson just got done talking about the draft and where some of the Iowa Hawkeyes will be going, and kind of the term that I always like to throw around because of Rosso is recklessly speculate what's going to happen in the draft, and we'll be doing that, and are not the only ones that will be doing that.
That's all this is. I mean, it's a whole industry. This whole industry is speculation, and that's the...
God, it's just incredible.
It's crazy, right?
It is just incredible. I still always say this, and I know I sound like a broken record, but it's incredible the way the NFL makes this a year-round thing. Not just the draft, but they always find a way to make it something else every time. I mean, I just texted you just to be like, did you see the Vikings release, for their schedule? And, you like the stock footage of San Diego Chargers. It just, they're always finding new ways to keep themselves relevant, and honestly, it's a tip of the cap to the NBA because the NBA is the one that's always on the forefront of doing things social media wise and being involved. And MLB is lacking, and we can talk about that another time as well. But the NBA playoffs, what are you seeing so far? That
I finally got to watch this weekend, which was the first time I'd watched NBA in, man, a while, as far as just sitting down and actually watching games. I tell you what, I hadn't watched Boston. I'd heard, you hear Boston, whatever, Kyrie, they don't want to play. Man, that team, the last two games.
Yep.
I'd be surprised if they don't come out of the East. I know they're going to get the Bucks, who's the number one seed, but man alive, the way they moved the ball yesterday against Indiana, Hayward off the bench, very efficient. I love Al Horford, always have. I think he's an underrated guy that does the dirty work. He's a veteran. He can play defense. He rebounds. He just makes it tough on the other team. And then obviously you have Tatum and Kyrie running the show. So I don't know. I was really impressed with both the two games they won in Indianapolis. And then you have the Chippy series, which I think these subplots are great because the NBA is pretty, we're all waiting for Rockets, Warriors next round.
Yep.
But you get Sixers, Nets, a couple fights, people getting elbowed in the head, a lot of trash talking. I don't know. I think that was a very entertaining couple games, even though Sixers are obviously going to win. And then you have Westbrook and Paul George.
Oh, boy.
Giving some attitude, trying to, rile up the Blazers after winning one game. And the Blazers last night come out and really take it to them. And the Blazers are a model I wish the Timberwolves would follow. They just need to find that other piece to go with Cat. Like, obviously, Lillard and McCollum have run that show for 4 or 5 years up there. Consistently in the playoffs, consistently just really good players. And I wish the Timberwolves would find that guard to complement Cat to have.
You mean the really good guard that has a chip on his shoulder because he's not mentioned with the really good guards?
Yeah, exactly.
That's
right.
Exactly
I mean, and Lillard, he was saying about how one of the Thunder player, kind of did he does the watch thing. It's time. It's Lillard time or whatever. And they were mocking him in Game 3, and he said, "Well, they weren't doing that in Game 1 and 2, were they?" He was like, "We'll see if they do it in Game 4." Well, then him and McCollum come on, both put up 20+ points, and they kind of control the series. They control that. So I think that the knock on the NBA is valid as far as some of these series don't have drama, and we know who's going to win. But I really think the East without LeBron, now that LeBron's not in it and in the East, if you're a fan, you got to like the fact that, there's the 4 teams that advance are going to have legitimate shots to get to the finals, and I really think Golden State's vulnerable. With the way Houston won the game on Saturday night against Utah, James Harden was, 3 for 20-something?
Yeah.
He was 0 for his first 18, and they still won a road playoff game. Houston's ready. And I think Golden State better be ready. Because I don't think Golden State, their team chemistry is obviously not good. You can tell that. Everybody can tell that. And I think Houston, I'm expecting it to be another 7-game series. I don't know if Houston can pull it off, but I really think it could be time. And it could be, for everybody who's a casual NBA fan, it could be the start of something great. Because now Durant leaves. The Warriors are still the favorites in the West with the Rockets, right? But you got a lot more intrigue if Durant leaves and goes somewhere else. You got what LeBron's going to do with the Lakers, and I think for the day-to-day drama, like you said, Jay, they do a really good job. The NBA does a good job of staying in the news and keeping these, whether they're made up or not, keeping these beefs up. And
they get the tweets going, right?
They do a great job. You know, like when Embiid, they're up 3-1 and he goes, well, after his post-game press conference after they beat the Nets yesterday, he says, well, you know, we're hoping we don't do what the Warriors did when they were up 3-1. And Jimmy Butler just leaves the press conference and is like, I told him not to say it. And he's just laughing. Like, you got to love the characters that these guys, you know, some of the plots that they bring. And I think that's fun. And we don't have time to talk about Major League Baseball, but that's where they're lacking.
Yes.
When Tim Anderson gets plunked
that's great. Good.
for pimping a homer, I get
the right thing.
I get so upset with that like, I don't lighten up, get him out. Yeah. That's the whole thing in every other sport. You don't like me scoring touchdowns? You don't like me dancing in the end zone? Well, tackle me from before I get to there. Stop me from scoring. Same in the NBA. You don't like me putting up whatever? You don't like me pimping on a dunk at the end of the game? Yeah. Then you should have beat us during the game. Like I hate that baseball has this mentality that you're not supposed to do it. I don't get it.
In baseball, a bench coach, manager, doesn't matter. First, third base coach, pitchers eyeballing the dugout after striking everybody out. Pitchers maybe pumping his arms a little too much. They don't sit there and say, find a way to hit up the middle. They say, take him out of the game. Let someone go yard. Someone dig in the batter's box. Get in there, sit on a fastball or a curve, and launch it. Let's get him out of this game, because that's how you have to get him out, right? And then the Tim Anderson thing, which it turns into it being racial, and you can argue that, but that's not what we're here to do. It's when he sits there and says, I'm going to be me. I'm going to be me. And Rob Manfred's sitting there saying, well, we need some more of you, Mike Trout. We need more of you. And Tim Anderson says, this is the way I play the game. I play with passion, but I play with fun. I'm having fun. And then, of all things, and it's really about what he said, the words that he used in the fight, okay? In the fight. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, but somebody made a great point. All these guys that weren't involved, it's all these guys come off the bench and chirping. Why aren't they suspended then? They all came out. They had nothing to do with anything. They're literally just chirping to instigate. And the guy, it should be between the pitcher and the batter and whatever. Like,
yes,
he didn't charge him, so I just don't understand how he got ejected or he got suspended. He didn't charge him out.
And in the next case, just doing things all the wrong way and using your social media all the wrong way, they take a tweet or a quote of Tim Anderson saying, I'm just going to be me. I play baseball. I play hard this way I like it. And MLB writes, you keep being you, TA.
Right.
And you suspended him. Like, you can't say keep being you, enjoy the game, man, but only on certain people's watch or whatever. And I know that the person who runs social media isn't the person that suspended him, but you still kind of have to, work together.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of it's tone deaf.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing one, you're shaking hands and got the hand behind the back on the other one. Like, don't do this. We're suspending you. But great job. We love this guy. Look at this guy. He plays with passion. The one that got me before I leave is the one last year, the guy on the Braves that hit how many homers in a row?
Oh, yeah.
To start the game, or how many homers in a row?
Yeah.
And then they plunk him?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, that to me, that lost me. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I just don't understand it. You can't get him out, so you hit him? I don't understand it.
No, that's...
Why doesn't a batter just charge the pitcher and kick his ass and then be like, well, we couldn't hit him. He had a no-hitter going, so we just decided to beat him up and try to get him out of the game. Because that's what you're doing when you hit Tim Anderson in the ribs. You're like,
intentionally walk him and you go, we gave up 1, not 4, and we're hoping the 2, 3, and 4 hitters didn't bite us in the ass over this. That's what they do. You go, we gave up 1 run. I mean, one base instead of 4. Look at what he's doing. It's a tip of the cap. Be like, we can't stop him. He's on a hot streak. I mean, they're doing it. They're walking Yelich now. He's getting the Barry Bonds treatment. They're not plunking him over it. 13 home runs. Lewis Brinson, who was in that trade, has 12 hits on the season. He's getting the walk. You're right. In the baseball, as much as I love it, they're behind a little bit in things. I want to ask you this: is this going to be the 4th year in a row that Oklahoma City, if they lose, which it's more than likely they will, is this the 14th year Oklahoma City is going out in the first round, or third?
Third, I think. 4 years ago would have been when they should have got to the finals. Klay Thompson Game 6. Klay Thompson Game 6, and then they lose at Game 7 at Golden State.
Yeah.
Which that's still, you want one person that changed the trajectory of the NBA more than anybody in the last 5 years. LeBron 1, Klay Thompson 2, right? Because Klay, if he doesn't go off Game 6 and Oklahoma City loses, I don't know. I don't think Durant goes anywhere, right? And I think they're in the finals. They probably win the title, or you never know. But they're in the finals again. The second time that Oklahoma City's been in the finals. But as it stands, they leave, and then you have everybody moving. Now Durant's probably going to leave again because I still think he feels slighted. Just with the way he is, with how spiteful he is, I still think Kevin Durant feels like people don't think he's the second best player in the league. And I think most everybody does, but I think his attitude, just with the comments and the way he is, the pettiness, I just think he still feels disrespected, and I think he's going to leave and try to win a title by himself. We'll see how that goes, but I just think that's going to be his fuel for the next couple of years.
I agree. It's gotten worse in the last couple of years, too, for sure.
Well, because everybody says he, basically is riding coattails to a championship, which I feel like you could argue both ways because, yes, the team was stacked and they won the title once before he got there. But was he finals MVP 2 years in a row or just once? He was for sure finals MVP the first year they won it with him on the team. Last year I don't remember, but, the thing is, do we want to judge guys by titles?
He was MVP last year.
Okay, so back to back. So do we want to judge guys by titles or don't we? We do it in football too. We do it in every sport. Do you want to, if you judge the superstars by titles, then you shouldn't have any problem with what Kevin Durant's doing. If not, then it's fine to have a problem. But, I leave you with this. Talking to Ken Anderson last week, and I'll probably put this on social media here in a little bit, but I asked him straight up, I said, what would it mean to make the Hall? Because you look at some of these analytics, Ken Anderson was Drew Brees before Drew Brees, the most efficient passer in the 70s, just a fantastic efficiency rating and quarterback rating. And if you extrapolate that to this year's standards or recent standards, he'd be right up there with all the top quarterbacks. But he didn't win a Super Bowl. He got to one Super Bowl, didn't win it. And he said, that's the only position in football where if you're a Hall of Fame candidate and you didn't win a Super Bowl, it's used against you. If you're a top running back or a top, defensive lineman, Bruce Smith or something, obviously he's a surefire, but a borderline candidate, Randy Moss even. Nobody's saying Randy Moss didn't win a Super Bowl. No one cares. Quarterbacks, they care. So I kind of think that applies to any of these situations where guys go to stacked teams. Like, I don't know, what are they supposed to do for their legacy? Not win a title?
Well, and then you look at Hall of Famer Joe Namath's numbers, and if you look at him, your jaw will drop and say he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So compared to what we do things now, Adam, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it, stepping up to the plate and helping us with the draft. I will be in touch with you, but everybody else, remember Thursday.
Yep, Thursday night.
We're going to be at Kavanaugh's Hilltop Bar and Grill. Adam, Troy, Serge, myself, and then we'll have guests, Ken Anderson, Coach Bell from Augustana. Will be tons of giveaways. What are we giving away again, Adam?
We got JDC passes. We got River Bandits tickets, Lumber Kings tickets, Steamwheelers tickets. We got all four. We're hoping to have some Steamwheelers there, possibly Doug Bland. I know Jay and I are working on that still. So we're trying to, just kick off the weekend, obviously. First round stuff. Come on out. We'll talk football. We'll watch football, and then we'll get everybody excited for Saturday afternoon over at Augustana when that 6th round pick is announced.
All right, so look for that on Facebook. I know we have an event out there. Like I said, Front Street Brewery is going to be making a firkin just for us. We'll be tapping there. That'll be on sale there. So Thursday night, it's going to be the unofficial Quad Cities kickoff of the NFL Draft. Adam, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Guys, pay attention. You're on tonight. You have stuff all weekend long about the draft.
Yeah, we'll have actually this entire week we'll have a draft story every week on Local 4 at 10. I'll be anchoring tonight, so you get my analysis of the Hawkeyes draft picks. But every night tonight at 10, all week we'll have draft stories, and then Thursday night 6:30. Right before you come to Kavanaugh's, or maybe we'll even have it on at Kavanaugh's, the NFL Draft Special. We're having a 30-minute show. Kidwell's anchoring. We're going to have some of the same stories, some new content. That's where my extended interview with Ken Anderson is going to run. So I encourage everybody to check that out and keep it on Local 4 for all the draft coverage because we're going to be killing it this week.
All right, follow him on Twitter at Adam J. Rosso and also at Hawkeye HQ. And then your write-up, is it also going to be, you'll have
we'll
that link
post that tonight, tonight as well.
HQ.
So that'll have kind of my Rosso's rants for the draft. Okay. I'll have, it's going to be a historical night, I think, and a lot of it's going to be because of the Iowa tight end, so it'll be fun on Thursday.
Okay, we'll be right back after this. Buying a home can be overwhelming. Don't get discouraged by the process. From start to finish, you'll need the guidance of a professional. Let Jen Peterson Murphy with RE/MAX Elite Homes use her extensive background in real estate to help you navigate the process. From lending qualifications and budgeting costs to recommended inspections, Jen Peterson Murphy can get you the most for your money in a competitive market. Jen specializes in residential real estate sales and assisting first-time home buyers. Buying or selling a home isn't stressful when you choose an agent you can trust. For expert advice, including strategic marketing practices, comprehensive market analysis, staging, and home assessments, think Jen Peterson Murphy of RE/MAX Elite Homes.
Hey, this is Goose, PA announcer for the Quad City Storm, and
Marv,
you're
do you wanna
listening
go
to
get Ryan
Don't
down the
Hassle
hall
Us,
and
We're
get
Local
Booker's
on
number? So when we get
ESPN
one thing, we'll get
93.5.
Do it
When
again
we come
a
back
little
on,
more
and
heart.
we'll go back on the air. And
Dynamic Power Racing Technology is a one-stop shop for all your street and racing needs. Better handling routine maintenance or more power, Dynamic Power offers a complete in-house machine shop with computerized balancing, dyno testing, and cylinder head repair. From full engine rebuilds to brand name parts, at Dynamic Power, we work with you to give you the best build for your budget. Track tested, customer approved. Dynamic Power in Moline. Call 762-2323. That's 762-2323.
From the first pitch to the last out, you'll hear every inning of Chicago Cubs baseball on ESPN 93.5.
He's at the warning track. It's at the wall. Solo.
Presented by Helitech, absolutely dry basement waterproofing. Crawford Company, Wheelan Presley Funeral Home and Crematory, Sheedy Family Chiropractic.
Game over. Cubs win.
The Chicago Cubs are on the Quad Cities sports leader, ESPN 93.5.
Did you see that game last night?
Ooh, instant classic.
I can't believe how much Burton was sweating in the ninth. You could see each bead dripping off his brow.
I didn't see him sweating.
My girlfriend was blown away by his clear skin. She kept going on and on about what his daily regime is. It was pretty impressive. I'm sure you noticed that.
Yeah, I didn't notice his smooth skin.
Either you don't have a girlfriend or you don't have DirecTV.
I don't have either, actually.
Wow. Really?
Live sports that aren't in 4K are just kinda TV. Only DirecTV has the most live sports in 4K. Don't just kinda TV, DirecTV. Switch from Dish and get a $200 reward card. Limited 4K programming available. Requires entertainment package or higher and compatible equipment. Reward card with 24-month agreement. Maintain service and redeem within 75 days. Card within 4 weeks. Limited time offer. Select markets only. Requires 2-room setup. Minimum $47 per month for 12 months after discount. Price is higher in second year. New residential customers only. Equipment lease, activation, installation, early termination, equipment non-return, and other charges and restrictions apply.
Eat fresh and save money. That's our commitment at Nolly's Kitchen. Our homemade corn tortilla and gorditas are both delicious and gluten-free. Nolly's always uses lean meat, and they offer low-carb and vegetarian options. Taste their one-of-a-kind menu items like empanadas, churros, enchiladas, and tamales. Carry out available or order online for faster service at nollyskitchen.com. Plus, check out their express menu and get your food in 15 minutes or less. Nolly's Kitchen, old-fashioned Mexican cooking. Rockingham and Division, Davenport.
In a world where dreams are built from the ground up, Tailored Living makes room for your vision. Imagine his and her walk-in closets in the master bedroom.
Oh, my dream come true. I could just kiss you. Mwah!
Sweet. Your home, your dream.
Tailored Living Custom Closet or Organization System will take you from clutter and chaos to control. Hi, I'm Amy. Schedule your free in-home consultation at tailoredliving.com. And together, you and I will build the closet of your dreams.
G&G Retailers is the best locally owned gun shop in the Quad Cities. In business for 3 generations. Excellent customer service, family atmosphere, and expertise in firearm knowledge. Whether you are a first-time gun buyer, avid shooter, or collector, they give you the best information to make the best purchase. They have one of the area's largest selections of reloading supplies, full stock of hunting and sporting rifles, and new and used handguns. For all your gun and gunsmith needs, visit G&G Retailers on the corner of 17th and Division in Davenport.
Okay, we're back at the Hassle Palace, ESPN 93.5. The Hassle Palace brought to you by Done Right Satellite and Security Solutions. almost about 1:20 after the hour. Almost about 20 minutes after the hour. And we just got done talking to Adam Rosso from WHPF and Hawkeye headquarters. We got Erickson over here on manning the Vans Pizza Pub and Grill Facebook comment thread. We got Marvin, the Marv Tender. He's in studio with us. And we got 10 minutes before we're going to call the five-time World Heavyweight Champion, the two-time WWE Hall of Famer Booker T. He's down in Houston. But we just kind of in between, we went to a WWE Live last night. Marvin, you went and I went. First off, I'd like to thank the people at the Tax Slayer Center for getting me the photo pass. I got to take pictures and be in areas that, it wasn't backstage or anything, and thank goodness I wasn't. I think I would have been too nervous anyway to do any of that. Because I was nervous enough when they were taking me around just the event center and saying, like, here's where you can go. And our security, you need this photo, you need this pass for our security, you need this pass for WWE, and you'll know who they are. And here's where you can go in the event area, and here's where the shield's going to come down. And luckily, because of the station, I was luckily enough to have third row seats, which isn't like the third row that you would see at like a Raw or a pay-per-view, where you've got a good 12 feet from the barricades to the ring. I mean, I was really close, like really, really close. So I would say I was 9 feet away from the ring. So that's the majority of the pictures that I have and that I'm going to put up on the ESPN 935 blog are from my seat. But I was getting nervous, and I knew they were coming down about section 113, and I got up early to go sit down, and I was like, well, something's not right. I'm just sitting here by myself, no one's around, and it was like right before the women's tag team match. So then I came back to my seat and said, I'll jump the gun a little bit, but went up to the guy, Tax Slayer Setter, and I said, hey, I'm here to shoot this for ESPN 935. I won't get in their way. And the guy was super cooperative, and he was just like, yeah, here's where I want you to go. And when they come, I'll get out of your way when they come down. And then as they start, move. So, I had them coming at me. I have all of them. They were Erickson, they were closer to me than I am to you right now.
Yeah, those pictures were awesome.
Yeah,
You're
so
right there.
And you, my friend, you have a picture from the seat you're at, and you have Pat, because it was Pat's son, Emmett. It was his birthday party, and they had a thing over there. And so you have a picture of Pat, and I texted you. I'm like, Pat's a mark.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not lying. I kind of marked out when those guys walked past me.
You have to.
Yeah.
Come on.
It was really strange. So the premise of this is, and I talked about this last week, and I put it on the blog on ESPN 935, is that this is a house show. It's not a pay-per-view event. It's not a Raw. It's not on TV. It's not a SmackDown. It's just when they go around, and it's one of those things. It's more for a family event. But one of the reasons it's being the last night of the Shield, that's Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose, the last night they're going to be together, and also Seth Rollins' hometown, they put it on the network, which is something they've never done before. It's kind of in beta testing to see how it works out. And so they went live to the network at 8:30. So they took an intermission at about 8:10, got back on, and they went live at 8:30, and they had the last three matches on. Mm-hmm. Elias is huge. Yeah. He is just gigantic. And so they started with that, and then they had the tag team, and then they had the Shield match. So it was a big deal that it was in Moline. Elias came out and sang his little song. That's the last night of the Shield here in Moline. This is the dumpiest place I've ever seen. And then, God, what was the next line? I tried to remember it. I wanted to write it down because all that stuff makes me laugh when they just try to get the crowd going. And Alexa Bliss with their Moment of Bliss did the same thing.
Just as long as you didn't say Quad Cities. Kept it at Moline, that's fine.
Yeah, he kept Moline.
I was waiting for him to announce Quad City, Illinois.
Yeah, I think he did say something about Quad Cities, and I was afraid he was going to rhyme it with a bad word. God, I can't remember what the last one was. Anyway, maybe maybe someone's got it on video, or I guess I can go back to the network and watch it. So it was a great night. Kids loved it. Get to see Ricochet, and then I didn't realize WWE NXT is here on Friday.
Yeah, I know they were pretty close to each other, but I wasn't sure what dates.
Yeah.
I knew it was real close. I just couldn't. But hey, here you go.
So I reached out to the River Center people this morning.
Well, duh.
That's
what you do.
Yeah, hey, just to let you know, if you wanted me to cover it for you, I mean, I
give him your best Paul Heyman right now.
Yeah, I did it. I did it already I did the tax layers a favor for ESPN 93.5. It started it right away and ended it with Jay Foster here, ESPN 93.5. Said, yeah, and hey, looking forward to hearing back from you. Just remember, Jay Foster, ESPN 93.5. Like to promote the thing for you. Maybe get some extra people in your seats. Yeah, so we'll see.
Jay, two-part question.
Yes.
How big was the security on the ringside after that guy had ran in a couple weeks ago into the ring, right?
Yeah.
And did you think about running into the ring?
No, I did not think about running into the ring. But okay, I will give you a couple things that kind of killed it. We were right by where the ring bell is. Okay.
Okay.
So he picks up the hammer before it even happens, so when the ending's coming. And I heard him one time say, "We've got 20 minutes." And it was a match, and they're like, yeah. So I'm like, all right, we got a 20-minute match here. It's going to be long. But and there is a video camera that was kind of behind the screen that saw the runway. So the guy came out from at the Hall of Fame down the actual runway. So there were video cameras that you could see if people were coming from that angle. But the security, well, let's face it, everybody's bigger than me, so they all looked big. But I don't think it was any different than any other. And it's funny that you mentioned it because it's another thing I wanted to ask Booker T because he was at that WWE Hall of Fame, and I wanted to talk to him about that run-in that young man did.
Oh, yeah, nice.
The other thing, Dawson, he got a huge pop when he got his tag. Dawson is the guy, when they had the run-in in the WWE at the Hall of Fame, he's the guy that actually got the shot in on as they were dragging him away. He comes walking up and just hits him, and he got a huge pop when he got his tag from all the big time, the smarks. That was a. But so the Shield got their night, and it was a big deal. My kids, I think now I've successfully they've made them WWE fans now.
Good.
This was a big one because I kind of pawn it off and be like, oh, it's for the kids. My kids really like it, but it wasn't catching on. And then last night, that was.
I need less strange looks from me. More people when I tell them, like yesterday, I'm like, oh yeah, you got tickets going to WWE. They're like, really? Huh? So I need less people that I can get that with.
It's a strange thing because even the people that are working in the administrative office are like, oh yeah. Well, I don't know. I like, asking them, like, is there this, and that? And they're like, I don't know. I'm probably not going to be around. And then the guy from the Quad City Times who was shooting it, he's just like, do you know when they're going to come? And the woman, I shouldn't say woman, the nice young lady who helped me, Stephanie, she goes, I'm not going to be here. I don't know. And I said, it's going to be after 9 o'clock. They're going on air at 8:30. And he's like, oh, okay. So, yeah, it's one of those things. Oh, I don't watch it, or else you watch it, But yeah, it was good to get the kids into it. So they did a great job. If I was going to write the bad, and the boring, I couldn't write a bad and a boring at all. I don't think.
No, they kept it moving pretty good. Kept a good pace. Decent matches. I mean, and people you knew too. So I mean, it wasn't just like they had a bunch of randoms in there from NXT or whatever that you weren't sure with. But I was really curious on how they were gonna space it with the network, with them going live. And usually with house shows like that, it depends how full it gets, and the object is obviously to make it look as full as possible. So I'm really curious to see how that really works out, because that could be, in lack of better words, a slippery slope, because you need that content, but if you're constantly trying to do that, plus then rolling in the next night into a Raw or a SmackDown, I mean, that's just a lot more to take on.
All right, we're going to take a second break, because I'm not going to take a break in the middle of an interview with the two-time Hall of Famer Booker T. So we will be right back after this, as soon as I find. Well, yeah, we'll be right back after this.
This is Bobby Metcalf from the Quad City Times, and you are listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local on ESPN 93.5.
Leaks, rumps, nooks, cranny, crevice, too. You've got those wet basement blues. Call the absolutely dry guy. Call the absolutely dry guy. Put that water back in its place. It's time to reclaim your living space when you call the absolutely dry guy. or visit us online at absolutely.dryguy.com. This was brought to you by Absolutely Dry Basement Waterproofing.
G&G Retailers is the best locally owned gun shop in the Quad Cities. In business for 3 generations. Excellent customer service, family atmosphere, and expertise in firearm knowledge. Whether you are a first-time gun buyer, avid shooter, or collector, they give you the best information to make the best purchase. They have one of the area's largest selections of reloading supplies, full stock of hunting and sporting rifles, and new and used handguns. For all your gun and gunsmith needs, visit G&G Retailers on the corner of 17th and Division in Davenport.
Did you see that game last night?
Ooh, instant classic.
I can't believe how much Burton was sweating in the ninth. You could see each bead dripping off his brow.
I didn't see him sweating.
My girlfriend was blown away by his clear skin. She kept going on and on about what his daily regime is. It was pretty impressive. I'm sure you noticed that.
Yeah, I didn't notice his smooth skin.
Either you don't have a girlfriend or you don't have DirecTV.
I don't have either, actually.
Wow. Really?
Live sports that aren't in 4K are just kinda TV. Only DirecTV has the most live sports in 4K. Don't just kinda TV, DirecTV. Switch from Dish and get a $200 reward card. Limited 4K programming available. Requires entertainment package or higher and compatible equipment. Reward card with 24-month agreement. Maintain service and redeem within 75 days. Card within 4 weeks. Limited time offer. Select markets only. Requires 2-room setup. Minimum $47 per month for 12 months after discount. Price is higher in second year. New residential customers only. Equipment lease, activation, installation, early termination, equipment non-return, and other charges and restrictions apply.
Dynamic Power Racing Technology is a one-stop shop for all your street and racing needs. Better handling routine maintenance or more power, Dynamic Power offers a complete in-house machine shop with computerized balancing, dyno testing, and cylinder head repair. From full engine rebuilds to brand name parts, at Dynamic Power, we work with you to give you the best build for your budget. Track tested, customer approved. Dynamic Power in Moline. Call 762-2323. That's 762-2323.
Okay. Welcome back to the Hassle Palace, brought to you by Dunright TV and Security Solutions. You listen to Don't Hassle So Local on ESPN 93.5. Minutes away from talking to the 5-time World Heavyweight Champion, 15-time Tag Team Champion, 2-time Hall of Famer, Booker T. Erickson, so have you got the girls into WWE yet?
No, they're not. They're not really into that. I guess I haven't tried though. I mean, if I took them to the match or something, they might get into it.
Well, they're doing it. I mean, obviously, this is the first time they've ever had a female-only headline the WWE WrestleMania, so that was a big deal. And so they're doing a lot to get young ladies involved in the sport, which is a good thing. So, what you got for me? Go ask Ryan down the hall, so he'll help you out.
They like beating me up in the living room.
Yeah.
So maybe they get into it. I don't know.
Are they in? Do they get into any sports right now?
Yeah, they actually just started soccer.
Okay. Did you see, and I don't want to mess up his name, and we got to have him on, did you see the young gentleman from North Scott who just bowled back-to-back 300 games in a MAC game?
I did see a little bit of that.
Cole, I believe his name is, yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool.
So, and then he bowled, I don't know if he bowled 3 or 7 in warm-ups in a row, and then he bowled back-to-back. How many strikes in a row is that? So that's 9 plus 12, right?
12 for one game, yeah.
Yeah, so he did back-to-back, so he did 40, so he did 24, and he did 7. I think he did 31 straight.
31 straight?
Yeah.
Yeah, my best is 22 straight, so he smoked me.
Yeah. So I got to figure out a way to have him on. That's incredible that a high schooler can bowl that.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, geez. I'm superstitious too, so I did during those 22 strikes. I didn't go to the bathroom. You know, you just hold it, yeah, because you can't. So by the time I missed in the 23rd shot, I was gone.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't change anything up either.
Right, you got to just keep your head. You can't do anything different. You just got to not talk to anybody and stand in the corner.
Are you you gonna try to get him to do golf?
I want to. I mean, that's where all the scholarships are, right? As far as ladies go, yeah. I mean, just get paid or not paid, but scholarship to just go play golf. That sounds great. They are into it a little bit. They watched a little bit of the Tiger thing with me, so
okay.
We'll see. Yeah. I got to find some clubs that are short enough for them right now. So they're 8 and 7. Hi, Ella. Hi, Emma.
Yeah, I don't think golf is going to be the sport that my kids are going to get into. Like I said last week, even when I came home and said, "You guys watch Tiger?" My daughter, "Why? What Tiger? What do I watch that for?" I'm like, "Golf." "Well, I don't watch golf." I'm like, "All right," but it's just what I was saying. Like, even they just pick and go. It's not when I grew up, I just wanted to do everything, and she just no to soccer. Ben says yes, soccer. She tried wrestling for a little bit. I did not want her to do it, but she tried it and then she quit. So she's just sticking to softball right now and some volleyball. Yeah, you let them do whatever they want to do.
Exactly. Let them try it once. If they like it, it sticks. Whatever. Cool.
Yeah. I want to remind everybody that when we had Adam Rosso on earlier, that we talked about Thursday night at Kavanaugh's Hilltop Bar and Grill. We're going to have our draft party. It's going to be the draft kickoff. Like we said, there's going to be giveaways for the River Bandits, the Lumber Kings, Steam Wheelers, day passes to John Deere Classic, much more to give away. Front Street Brewery is developing a Firkin just for us, for draft beer. We're going to give an analysis of every draft pick. We'll have guests on, Coach Bell, Ken Anderson, and probably more will reach out. It's one of those fun things that you just start brainstorming and getting the ideas together, and you go from there. So, all right. Without further ado, we're going to talk to the two-time Hall of Famer. So, I tell you what, I'm going to mark out here. All right. Yeah. Hey, you're on the air, ESPN 93.5. Is this the two-time Hall of Famer, Booker T? Booker? Hello? Can you guys hear anything?
Nope, I can't.
You guys want to get Ryan? Well, this is mildly embarrassing, I guess. Well, it says on air. Thing's on. It's on one.
Hey, Jay, it's Booker T. Ready for a Harlem hangover?
Yeah, five time. Thanks, Erickson. I appreciate you helping me out there.
I was just giving a dude a scissor kick to the head.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. I can't hear him. Can you? And we just lost him. All right. Well, these are the fun things. Just bring those guys in here, and I'll just call them on the phone, on the actual air. All right. Hello, ESPN. Oh, they just did. No, they picked it up. This is just getting a little bit too much. So
things happen.
Yeah, I know. But this is what happens when you try to be professional and you get people to you want to do the, instead of just calling in. See, usually when I'm here, I'm just like, well, we're just gonna call in and we'll just go straight to the air. And it doesn't sound as good, but they wanted to, since he's the Hall of Famer, to make him go on hold and then bring him on. And so, okay, well, that's what happened last time there, Marvin, and it didn't go through. So it says hold. I mean, this is about as bad as a botch as you can get. So, just get the number and I'll call him on air. We're not going to botch this anymore. We've lost 8 minutes of this interview. So, this is about the reminder. Just give me the phone number. This is about just there was a situation last night at the match where one of them got botched, the final.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and everybody right away was like, botch. And then they turned around and did it. What does hold ready mean? Hello, this is Jay, ESPN.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me, Booker? Can you hear me? Booker.
Hello,
Booker. Can you hear me? Booker. Get the phone number. I can't hear. He can't hear me. Get the phone number. I'll just call him. This is he can't hear me. He's just sitting there. Yeah.
Yeah. He's hello.
Yeah. This is. Yeah, poor guy. He's going to never call us back again or anything.
We'll get it.
Yeah, I know. This is... Thank goodness this is on. Thank goodness this is live on Facebook, so you can just see how you can see the sweat beads coming down off my forehead as well. Well, I want to remind you guys, you can always watch us on ESPN 935. Thanks for calling and watching us here. So, all right, let's do it the old-fashioned way. All right, hopefully this works.
Booker T.
Hey, Booker, this is Jay from ESPN 935. Can you hear me
Hello?
okay? Booker? Come on.
Hello?
Booker. Yeah.
Hello?
Hey.
I hear no one.
Yeah, I can't. I hear you, Booker. You can hear. Yeah. All right.
Hello?
Yeah.
Going once?
Yeah. Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle.
Whiplash the monkey.
Whiplash the monkey, yeah. Nobody knows what. Well, it is what it is, I guess. It was fun while it lasted. The thing is hopefully someone can turn this into something and make a nice 10-minute video of us looking like the pros that we are here in the Hassel Palace. Anyway, all right. Well, let's take a quick break and see what we did wrong. Come back. We'll be right back in just 3 minutes.
This is Adam Rosso from Hawkeye Headquarters, and you are listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local on ESPN 93.5.
Now that my dad works for Winger Truck Line, I get to see him on weekends. And the best part, he gets to go to my baseball games and even helps out with coaching my team. Winger has helped me become a happier kid and made my dad a cool truck driver.
This is Eric at Winger Truck Line, where flexible home time really means something. Now hiring part-time, home daily, and regional home weekends. Call me today at Winger Truck Line, 800-593-6433, or visit drivewtl.com.
Leaks, ruptures, nooks, cranny, crevice, too. You've got those wet basement blues. Call the absolutely dry guy. Call the absolutely dry guy. Put that water back in its place. It's time to reclaim your living space when you call the Absolutely Dry Guy. Or visit us online at absolutelydryguy.com. This was brought to you by Absolutely Dry Basement Waterproofing.
Did you see that game last night?
Ooh, instant classic.
I can't believe how much Burton was sweating in the ninth. You could see each bead dripping off his brow.
I didn't see him sweating.
My girlfriend was blown away by his clear skin. She kept going on and on about what his daily regime is. It was pretty impressive. I'm sure you noticed that.
I think I got it. We're back on ESPN 935.
Hello, it's Booker T.
Hey, this is Jay from ESPN 935. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can do fine now.
Oh, thank goodness. Hey, I'm so sorry, champ. I apologize for that.
No problem, man.
Thank you very much for being patient and waiting on us and everything else. Anyway, I don't know where to start because I'm sweating bullets here because I've tried so hard to get you on the air and everything. How you doing?
Yeah, man, I'm doing good.
Good. I mean, let's just start from just the last month. Second time in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Hey, man, honors like that, you don't really go out and work for them. I think they just happen. For me, being, in a tag team or a really good tag team with my brother, never getting a chance to work in WWE, and then to still get that honor says, hey, man, we was a pretty good tag team, and, for the fans to put us on that pedestal and give us that prop, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very cool, especially like you said, as a tag team, not ever wrestling in the WWE together, but for them to recognize what you guys did for the sport of professional wrestling is important. And you yourself, you're one of only 4 professional wrestlers to be inducted twice.
Yeah, to be a part of some great company, Shawn Michaels, Brett, and of course Ric Flair. Always, that was my goal from the beginning to, just for my name to ring with the guys who did it the best, and I feel like I've accomplished that now. Not thinking about the fame and the fortune or anything like that along the way, but the legacy that one leaves, I think is the way to actually get there. That's the blueprint. That's the roadmap.
So last night we had a live event here at the WWE Live. It was in Moline, Illinois. I saw you wrestle at the 1997 Great American Bash with your brother against the Steiner brothers here at Moline. At the time, I believe it was called the Mark still. So that was 1997. Do you remember anything of the Great American Bash back then?
Man, I remember wrestling the Steiner brothers a whole lot, man. But as far as dates and times and stuff like that, I never tried to remember stuff like that. It had to be a certain moment that made me remember certain things. Like being in Joe Louis Arena and Muhammad Ali walking down the aisle and the people going crazy. I remember that. But certain moments, I don't remember because it was always say it was I wrestled for the fan to have the memory, not for myself, because it was so many matches and there was so many performances. I had to always think about what was next, and I never could think about, what I had already did in the past or anything like that.
Well, you did exactly what you said you wanted to do. 22 years later, I still remember it, so that's, that's the most important.
Exactly, yeah, that was the goal.
So fast forward to things that are going on now. You've got your own podcast, right?
Yeah, I got my own podcast, Hall of Fame, here in Houston, 97.5, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night, 9 to 11. If anybody out there listening right now, make sure they listen tonight because I got a big guest going to be on. Hulk Hogan's going to be kind of stepping inside the Hall of Fame tonight, as well as I got my reality wrestling program here, my wrestling promotion that we do on a monthly basis. We do shows, that air on weekly basis on Fight TV. So download the Fight TV app and check out reality wrestling. And, let us know how we're doing. If we're doing good, if we're doing bad, we need those comments more than anything. So we're doing everything down here, just trying to keep Houston alive and put Houston on the map, and keep not put Houston on the map, but keep Houston on the map.
Well, now that you mentioned Houston, and I've got a lot of things, but I want to just rewind a little bit. So you're on ESPN 97.5 Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? 9 to 11.
Yes.
And then that's
9 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Yes.
And it's called the Hall of Fame. Yeah.
The Hall of Fame, and you can also
with Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Okay, and you can also listen to that in podcast form, right?
Yeah, you can listen to the podcast as well as we stream BookerTLive.com every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night, so you can not only listen to us, but you can step inside the Hall of Fame as well. And it's actually a pretty cool show. We talk MMA, we talk boxing, we talk about professional wrestling, of course, as well as just current events and what's going on.
So it sounds like you're very passionate about the MMA.
Yeah, I love the sport, man. We just had fight night just went off this weekend in Russia. Olenek and Overeem, awesome heavyweight fight, man. And I love the sport of combat. The art of the joust. And it's just been something that's been in my blood for many years. Muhammad Ali was my idol when I grew up. I always wanted to be like Muhammad Ali, and I kind of was like Muhammad Ali in the wrestling ring from a perspective. But man, I just love combat.
It's in the Quad City area at one point. We were known as like the Mecca of MMA, obviously with Pat Miletich being from here in his gym.
Yeah, heck yeah, Miletich. Definitely put the sport. He was one of the guys, one of the founders, as well as his technique, what he brought to the game, and that's his training regiments as far as what he gave to so many other guys. Miletich, wrestling is known all over the world, and right now he's doing pretty good as well as a commentator too. So he's still around doing his thing, and that's pretty cool too.
You talked about keeping Houston on the map. Any big news about going on and that you've released in 2019 about Houston that you want to tell the people?
Oh man,
are you looking for public office?
2019 is may not be my year. I ran into a couple of bumps in the road, but that's my ultimate goal is to serve, man. Give these young people something to dream about. Give them hope, someone to want to be like. And that's one thing that I always grew up wanting that one thing to have. I always wanted that pat on the back, wanting someone to give me some hope and inspiration. I guess that's why I look towards Muhammad Ali. And I got so many young people here in the city of Houston that look up to me and want me to actually represent them. And I don't do it for me. I do it for I don't know. God pushes me in a direction, and I'm just walking in that direction. But 2019 may not be my year, but that is my ultimate goal.
Switching over to a different sport, but staying in Houston, the Rockets are starting to put something together here and looking like a legitimate threat to the Golden State Warriors.
Timing is everything, man. Coming in healthy, of course, with Chris Paul, last year going out, with that hamstring injury, I think it was, and now, I was just watching him, man. I mean, he's moving quick, man, and with him being that leader, that support that we need on the team, James Harden definitely he's bringing his game, man. He's carrying the team. I must say, he's carrying the team, and I'm a huge critic of James Harden, and I want to see him work a whole lot harder. And hopefully, this year he'll give me that one thing to definitely dispel all of the thoughts in my head about James Harden and what this guy really truly is by bringing a championship to Houston, Texas. So we're going to see, man. Right now they're gelling, and they're gelling at the right time, and I think we got a chance. Definitely got a shot.
Also, big thing going on this week is the NFL draft. Are you a big Houston Texans fan?
I definitely am a Texas fan, man. I support all our teams here, man. I don't care if it's Dynamo, the soccer team. I'm serious. I'm down. I'm down with them, man. So yeah, definitely down with the Texans, man. We're just missing a few pieces to the puzzle, and that's gonna be on the ownership to go out there and spend some money to bring in those that supporting cast. Quarterback can't do it all alone. The receiver can't do it all alone. I mean, we need that defensive line to actually be able to hold up in certain aspects of the game, because no matter how many points we put on the board, if we can't stop the opposing team, we're still going to be in trouble. So we definitely just got to spend the money in the right places.
Gotcha. We're going to talk a little bit more about the squared circle, whatnot. I just obviously you've been interviewed all over the world, and you get asked like a lot of the same questions, but I get more interested in other things. Like, what was like the hardest receipt you ever had to deliver to someone who was a little too stiff in the ring?
All of my receipts were stiff. All of my shots were stiff. I was known for that, but that's part of the game. It's not ballet or anything like that. The guys that make it to the top level, they're able to take it. As well as they're able to dish it out. It's just part of it. I've hit guys, really, so hard, and they go, man, what was that for? And I'm like, man, it's TV, man. We got to work tonight. It's just part of it. I worked with Benoit back in the day. No one was as snug and stiff as Benoit, and so I came from that same academy, that same school of going out there and making it as real as I possibly want to make it, and that was really, really borderline. It was walking a very, very thin line on whether it was reality or not.
You came from the Ivan Putski school, right?
Well, I went to Ivan Putski school. A guy by the name of Scott Casey got his hands on me when I was at the school, and he pretty much taught me the small aspects of the business. I was around him for about 3 or 4 months. And those 3 or 4 months was probably the most important time in my wrestling career. Just learning the small things, what to do before and what you do after. And I think that's what I teach my students in my performance center here in Houston. Booker T's Reality of Wrestling, 10,000 M.A. Flowery Expressway, Texas City, Texas. Monday through Friday we're open. But yeah, that's what I teach my guys, man. The small little bitty things. As far as what it takes to make it in the business. Let's just say, for instance, you got to be able to make it in the locker room before you ever have a chance at making it in the ring. Those are one of my lessons I teach.
Who was your favorite to wrestle just one-on-one, not in a tag team? Who would, just for yourself, who was your favorite to be in the ring with?
I had no one favorite guy. You know, which I always answer that question is, you know, the Canadians, and it was a multitude of great Canadian wrestlers. You know, plethora of talent there from Canada, and all of those guys seem to have the same work ethic that I had. We always went out and made great music. I don't care if it was, you know, Christian. I don't care if it was, you know, Rick Martel. You know, like I say, Benoit. I don't care who it was, man. Lance Storm. The list is, you know, long as far as Canadian talent that I've gone out there and performed with.
You mentioned your show tonight that's going to be on ESPN down in Houston on ESPN 97.5 and the Hall of Fame with Booker T, and your guest tonight is Hulk Hogan. In the last couple of years, Hulk Hogan's had it a little rough. Are you going to be addressing anything like that on his show tonight?
We're going to be addressing everything, all issues, racial tension, troubles in the past, as well as, you know, the good moments too. We're not just going to be talking about,
of course,
you know, the down moments, but you know, my show is an upbeat show. I just want to bring Hulk on step inside the Hall of Fame just so people can, you know, see what he's like from from my perspective. I got my history with Hulk Hogan. It goes way back, all the way to the, you know, me winning the title, even, you know, before I won the championship, even all the way up into this day. Our careers is kind of parallel in a sense. So we're definitely going to go down memory lane and talk about a little bit of everything, but definitely we're going to get the hard questions as well.
How did you address him when it all came out, the tape came out and everything?
Well, I didn't address him personally, because, you know, I can only say it like this. I don't want to give away too much, because I definitely want people to listen to the show tonight.
They'll listen, yeah.
But when that tape came out, you know, people need to understand. It's almost like the Mark Furman incident with the O.J. Simpson trial. Okay,
yeah.
Let's look at it from this perspective for just one moment.
Sure.
Okay, when you got a guy on trial for murder, one of the most heinous crimes, you know, in the history of the world, and then you got a police officer that goes on the stand and say, "I plead the Fifth Amendment due to the fact that it may incriminate me." One of the leading detectives who was on the case pleads the Fifth Amendment and walks away. So therefore, there's some reasonable doubt in my mind. Seemed like the case should have just got thrown out right there. Now we got Hulk Hogan's situation. Hulk Hogan's situation was a man saying something in the confines of his own home, and somebody that was in there was taping it. Now, a lot of people say a lot of things inside their own home. You know, I've said a lot of things inside my own home. Doesn't make me a racist because I know I'm not. What he said, does it make him a racist? I don't think so. People say things within the confines of their own home because that's just human nature. That's it.
And well said. I mean, obviously, you guys have, you know, made your peace and everything, and you look at it that way. And Big E went out and said that they talked about it behind the scenes. And like you said, listen to tonight, ESPN 97.5 in Houston, and you guys can you can download the podcast and listen to it as well. We do have a question on our Facebook comment thread, real quick one. Was Haku like the stories of Haku just being the baddest wrestler, the strongest guy, the biggest barroom brawler? Was he really that big and bad?
Hey, man, you know, some people, you know, from my hood, where I come from, you can look at a man's eye and pretty much tell a whole lot about him.
Okay.
Haku was one of those type of guys. I never had to test him or anything like that. I never saw him in a fight or anything like that. I never saw Haku upset. And those are the type of guys you don't want to mess with.
Yeah.
Definitely all of the stories about him are true. He's one of the toughest SOBs you're ever gonna meet. And if you're going into a ballroom brawl, he's the guy you want on your side.
All right, Booker, because we lost 10 minutes of time and our show ends at 2 o'clock, I'm sorry we have to let you go, but I want to thank you so much for your time and your patience as we are trying to get a hold of you. We really do appreciate it, and thank you to just taking 20 minutes out of your time to talk to us about everything. I want to remind you, Booker, tell everybody where they can follow you on Twitter.
Follow me on Twitter at BookerT5X, on Instagram as well, BookerT5X. And like I say, listen to me on the night, Hall of Fame, man, 97.5. Or you can listen to it, look at it streaming, BookerTLive.com tonight, 9 p.m. Central Time. It's going down.
And your website for your realities of wrestling is, because you have a wrestling school.
Yeah, I got a wrestling school, man. If anybody want to, think about getting in this business, man, just go to realityofwrestling.com and, check us out, man. We got a whole lot going on with Reality of Wrestling coming up. We got a big event coming up with TNA coming up. We got a big event coming up with the Dynamo soccer team here in the city. So we got a whole lot going on. So check us out, man. I really appreciate you giving me some time.
All right. Thank you, Booker. We appreciate it so much. You have a great day. Thank you again. Take care, champ.
Hey, no problem.
All right, that's it. We got to go. We ran over time. We got to go. We'll keep the tapes rolling. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Thanks for watching this and listening to this complete craziness for 10 minutes. We're flipping it over to ESPN. Have a hassle-free Monday.
Are both on the road with a chance for first-round sweeps. Milwaukee plays in Detroit. Houston plays at Utah. Nets GM Sean Marks gets a one-game suspension and a $25,000 fine for entering the referee's locker room after Game 4 against the 76ers.
This Mother's Day, show Mom just how much you appreciate her love and support with 1-800-Flowers.com. Right now, you can get 36 sorbet roses for just $36. To order, go to 1-800-Flowers.com, click the radio icon, and enter code WILL.